You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Married to Medicine After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Married to Medicine After Show.
They're playing basketball
all around the world.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another AfterBuzz TV After Show. This is Married to Medicine. It's Season 2, Episode 2, Love and Basketball. I'm your host, Michelle Renee, and I'm joined with...
English Cleveland, hey.
All right, so Jake Dupree is not going to be with us tonight, but no worries. We're going to dissect this episode and, you know, talk all of our trash that we talk.
Yes.
So let's jump right into it, English. Okay, so we're going to take it chronologically.
Okay.
The episode starts with a new character that we've never seen before, Lisa Nicole.
Right.
Okay.
I was like, hey.
Initial thoughts on Lisa Nicole?
I was like, who is she? I remember seeing her on the first episode, like a little bit at the party. And then I was like, oh, they said her name, but this time it was like they started off a scene with her.
Yeah, and did they say if she? I don't think she's a doctor. From what I heard, she owns her own clothing line and is going to be going in business with Quad. But so I'm assuming she's married to a doctor.
She's married to a
because that
doctor.
would make her eligible for the show, of course.
Right.
Obviously, one thing that we have to touch on here is Mr. Dwight, who we've seen on Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of the people that watch this show are definitely fans of Real Housewives of Atlanta that have kind of adopted to this show.
Right.
You know, they're both in the same city. They're both a cast of Black women. So Dwight is definitely familiar with the viewers.
Right.
What did you think of him making an appearance?
I was like, whoa. Like, it shocked me when the camera turned to him. It was like, Dwight. I was like, Dwight. Like, now he's on this. Like, he's like, I don't know. I think he's just like all over the place. Like,
are you a Dwight fan or no?
I'm not a Dwight fan.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a Phaedra fan, and Dwight's a Phaedra fan, and I'm not a Phaedra
Dwight
fan.
is a Phaedra fan now only because he was a Nene fan, and Nene kind of...
booped him.
Yeah, booped him.
I'm on Nene's.
You're on Nene's side.
Yeah.
Team Nene. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's with Phaedra. I don't like Phaedra.
Yeah, it just... I mean, this is what it seems like to the viewer, at least in my opinion, that Dwight is kind of seeking out where he can get his 15 minutes of fame.
Yes.
Be it on the Housewives, being a friend of Nene. And when that doesn't work out, he's a friend of Phaedra and planning all her parties. And now he's on this show as well. So
you're right. He wants to be a Bravo star.
He does.
He wants to be anywhere he can. He wants to collect a check. Andy, he wants a check.
Well, do those little side characters and the friends of the stars, do they even get a check? Or?
I don't know. I always think but I always wonder because sometimes like the first when he was with Kenya, he was like on it a lot. So I'm like, is Dwight a cast member? Like he was kind of like a sideline member, like with everybody. So I was like, maybe he is. I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like in that instance, though, it's like even if you don't get a check, you still want to be on it just to get your name and likeness out there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm just a little over. He's not adding anything to it for me. It's like, why are you here?
Right.
If he was there and he was doing something constructive or helping the storyline in some way, then I could appreciate him more. But it's just kind of like a Dwight cameo, and I don't really get it. So hopefully we don't see him anymore this season.
At all.
So Lisa Nicole, did I call her Lisa Marie earlier? Because I think I may have. Lisa Nicole is going into business with Quad, and they're going to be starting a doggy couture line of clothes.
Right.
Would you buy it? Do you have a dog? You have a dog, right?
I have a dog.
You going to buy it for your dog?
First of all, let's discuss how Quad decided to name all the name brands, and she's like, Dior, Gucci, Louis Vuitton.
You had a big problem with that while we were viewing.
Because I'm like,
you did.
hold on, babe. Baby. Louis Vuitton. It's Louis Vuitton. Where, like, you have all these high-end brands, but you said Louis Vuitton. It blew my mind. Like,
yeah. And to that point, I just would like to address some of our fans from last week. I'm Michelle Renee. This is English. I think some people had us confused. English was not here last week, but I was here, and I made the comment that I thought some of the ladies can't speak King's English, and I stand behind that comment. But we do appreciate all of your feedback, and just know that I did see your comments, and sorry, I'm not sorry. So thanks for watching, though. Thanks for tuning in. So back to I'm a shady boots, but thanks.
Hey, you had to do what you had to do.
I mean, it's just like, I don't know. I know that everyone like sometimes I say wrong words, but I'm always one to kind of be like, oh, is that the correct meaning, or is like that right? And I just think that if you like catch yourself saying something incorrectly, then try to correct it next time, because the same way that Quad is coming up with this brand of doggy clothing line or whatever, she, of course, I think she would appreciate if people pronounce it correctly. Hi. So you want to give the same respect to your favorite designers, and you want to pronounce their clothes correctly too, no?
Of course.
So
hello. Yes, she's right.
One thing about this scene that really kind of bothered me was the fact that, okay, we get it that they don't like Mariah, but there was actually two things about it. One, Lisa Nicole seems to be playing both sides of the fence, because they played the footage from last episode, and they see her telling Mariah, oh, your outfit's so cute, or she said something, but she definitely wasn't throwing shade at Mariah in the moment. She was kind of
like
saying,
interested,
saying she looks cute. And then, fast forward to this week, she's like, she looked like Big Bird, and she looked crazy, and all of this. So, like, number one, that was my one issue. And number two, Quad doesn't like Mariah. Okay, we get it. But if I don't like someone, I'm not going to spend all of my time and energy talking about that person.
I was like, what? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, get over it. Like, you guys are all just fighting for nothing. Like, it's so crazy.
So, and you said numerous times when we were watching that you're not actually a fan of Quad or Mariah. Because I was going to say maybe Team Quad or Team Mariah.
I can't, because I feel like both of them do like super immature stuff that I was like, I can't handle. I don't like both of their personalities, like girl and they have all these like sidelines and all this. It like drives me crazy. Yeah. Like, speak in English.
It's yappy. It's yappy. A little yappy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I guess we'll see how it plays out, because we see Dr. Well, not Doctor actually, but we see what's her name, Lisa Nicole. We see her next week talking to Toya. Was it?
Toya.
So, and Toya is team somebody. I don't know.
Not Mariah.
So I don't know. I mean, I definitely think that by the end of the season, we're gonna have two distinct groups of like team so-and-so and team so-and-so.
Yep.
So I think it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, because right now some of the women are kind of like straddling the line.
Yeah.
So we have that to look forward to. So there was a few scenes in here that we can just maybe touch on, but I don't know if they really had any weight to them.
This episode was like choppy, right? It went like back and forth, back and forth. I was like, okay, I wrote that down. Then I was like back to, and then it went back to the other. I was like, hey. Like, it was really confusing.
It was. It wasn't the best episode, but, you know, I'm sure next week will be better, hopefully. So scene 2 is at Dr. Jackie's house, or, yeah, at Dr. Jackie's house. And she is expressing to Dr. Simone that she wants a baby. We saw the two of these women have a conversation briefly last week about the same thing. And Jake and I kind of touched on it a little bit, whether or not Dr. Simone is being a good friend to Dr. Jackie, or if, you know, if Dr. Simone actually has some validity in what she's saying about the fact that Dr. Jackie is not going to be able to be a good mom because of her job. So do you have any opinion on that?
I feel like if she really wanted to, and she's been focused on it, I don't think anyone could tell her you can't do this. And I feel like Dr. Simone is trying to come from a stern heart because she wants to come at her hard. But honestly, I feel like she probably does want her to try it. But she shouldn't listen to what anybody else has to say. Just do it and go from there. you can't fail at being a mom. She's given all of these people their babies, you know, have delivered all of these babies. She's not going to mistreat a kid, you know what I mean?
I mean, I definitely don't think she would mistreat it. And I think if anything, she would be very compassionate and very loving towards the child. I think not only the concern of Dr. Simone, but also the concern of Jackie's husband is that the time constraints, you know, placed on the relationship would be there. Because as we see, Dr. Simone doesn't have time to even go to her child's extracurricular activities. And I mean, I can remember growing up and like dance and cheerleading and everything, and my parents were there for the most part, but if it was something that they had to like work or something, you know, it kind of does stink a little bit. Yeah. Like when your parents aren't there and everyone else's parents are. Even if you know your parents want to be there and they support you, just when they're not there because they have to work, it kind of still stings a little bit. Yeah, so
I get it, but I mean, it's gonna get better. You know, there's gonna be more better times than bad times, I feel like. Yeah. So it's like, I don't think it's something she should take back. She should look forward to and go from there. Hopefully she'll overcome a lot of things that other people haven't.
Well, I guess we will see if she has a child or not. So scene 3, this is another small short scene, but I have a comment to make. So we see Dr. Simone in the bed, and she's on call that night, and her phone rings, and she gets the call, so-and-so is having a child, we need you to come here now. And she hops right out of the bed and jumps in the car. And I did not know that doctors who are on call, like, sleep in their clothes and then just hop up and leave. Yeah. Am I the only person that kind of has an issue with that? Because, like, I'm going to want you to pull a fresh pair of, like, scrubs out of your laundry and, like, put them on, because unless you change the sheets every day, you're sleeping in maybe like some substances or like. You're right. I don't want to get too graphic with it, but
no, you're right. But I didn't think about that.
And I mean, I know you're gonna wash your hands thoroughly when you get there. You're gonna put on your lab coat and whatever else and scrub it up. But to me, that was just a little odd, and I had never thought of it. But
it scared you.
It scared me, and I'm going to need to let my OBGYN know whenever I end up having a child, which is, that's going to be
you hop out of that bed
a few years from now, but I'm going to let him know, look, don't hop out of bed with your spouse. Y'all are spooning, and, like, you come with dirty scrubs on. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
I mean, Dr. Simone looks very clean, but I'm just saying, I don't know what's in that bed.
You don't want it.
Anyway, we're silly over here tonight. But, okay, so moving on. Okay. The next scene we see is Toya and her husband discussing her staying at home. And before we discuss that, I just think that this show is so interesting because there's kind of like this dichotomy. I don't know if that's the right word, but between like all of these different women that kind of touch on parts of being a woman in the 21st century and having to like stay at home and having to like consider having a baby with a job. And it's just like we see Toya, who is a stay-at-home mom, who wants to be a stay-at-home mom. We see Simone, who works, who maybe wants to have a little bit more time at home. We see Dr. Jackie, who doesn't have any kids, who wants to have a child and pull back on work. We see Quad, who doesn't have any kids at all, who doesn't want any. So it's just like I feel like there's a woman on this show that every woman in America can identify with. I mean, granted, I would say the majority of Americans don't have as much money as these women have, but still, as far as the struggles that they go through, you know?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So that's what I do like about the show.
I do like that about the show, too, because it goes, like, down the scale of every kind of woman. Yeah, you're right.
So, Toya is, like I said, she is a stay-at-home mom right now, and she has 2 kids, right? And they're both about to go to school, and so she kind of discusses with her husband whether or not she's going to go to work after these kids go to school. And he's kind of like, well, I mean, you're not going to be fulfilled if you don't go to work. And she's like, well, what do you think? Like, I am working. Like, I have to get them ready for school. I have to clean this house. Like, this is work.
And the housekeeper only comes twice every 2 weeks.
Yeah, twice every 2 weeks.
Yeah, or once every 2 weeks.
Once every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you think that she's being, I mean, I don't know if it's for us to judge, but that's what we're doing here at AfterBuzz. But do you think that it's her being a little bit overdramatic in the duties of being a housewife and that she just doesn't want to go to work? Or do you think there's some validity to what she's saying?
I think part of it, well, she doesn't have that much to do. Like you get the kid, like they're not babies. They're going to school. What are you doing in the time in between them at school and you doing nothing? And then what?
She's cleaning.
Cleaning. Where you every day? What's that bad? You clean one bathroom. Your house isn't like a 14 bedroom and bath.
So you think that she is just reluctant to go to work because she just wants to chill?
Yeah. Honestly, yes. That's Toya. Toya, right?
Toya, yes.
Toya. That's her.
So let me ask you a question. If you were in her shoes, what would you do?
I would go to work because you don't want to lose your man. Like,
Well, I mean, he didn't make it seem like he was going to leave her if she didn't go to work, right? Or is that what you were getting?
But she wasn't being honest at all the stuff she had to do. So I felt like he was still like, you don't have that much.
So do you think that being a stay-at-home mom kind of, and being portrayed as lazy-ish could kind of jeopardize a marriage?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think?
I mean, I don't know. I think it depends on every man. I think if you have a man that's kind of like supportive of you being a mom and understands your duties to raise a family, but a man that's kind of frugal and also if you have a husband that could use the extra income to supplement the family, like, and you don't want to go to work, I think that could jeopardize a marriage because I think if anything, the husband's going to be like, wow, she's just sitting home doing nothing and we need the extra income and she's not doing anything.
Right.
But I think if it's a man that has a relatively good job and he can support the family on his own and you've expressed to him that you don't want to go to work and he married you under those circumstances, then I personally would be a little bit offended if he came back later and is like, well, you need to go to work now.
Well, yeah.
And it's like, you married me under these circumstances and you're making X amount of dollars a year.
Yeah. If he came back, then no. But if you knew, then no. Then this is what we signed up for.
Yeah. So it's like if you have a job before y'all met and before you got pregnant and then you get pregnant and you stay at home and then you go back. Okay, I get it. But if you never had a job, he married you and said, hey, I want you to be a stay-at-home mom. I want to take care of you. I want you to stay at home and cook and clean. And then he expects you to go to work. That I kind of have an issue with.
Yeah, I get it.
You know?
Yeah. You're right.
So, I don't know. We'll see. Because I also think that I don't know her husband at all, so I'm not saying this is particularly about him, but I feel like also men expect you to still go to work, but still to, take care of the family and still to even take care of yourself and to still be a bad one, to still have the weaves and the nails and the makeup and the body. And it's like, there really isn't enough time. I mean, there is enough time, but it does stretch a lot of people thin.
Yeah, of course, yeah. It's like a hard routine, like, and when is the time,
Yeah. So tell us what you think, guys. Go over to iTunes, rate and comment on our after show. Anything we've discussed thus far in this after show, you can comment on that. And you can also comment on the things that we're about to discuss coming up. We love to hear your feedback and your opinion. And of course, we want 5 stars. So moving right along to, moving on to the next scene is our favorite new cast member, Dr. Heavenly. She starts off by talking about how fabulous she is and how she is a great wife and a great mother and she just does it all
for her kids.
I don't know if she's trying to convince herself or if she's trying to convince everyone else. It's one of those things where, people talk so highly of themselves and you say, I don't know if she's trying to convince herself that she's that great or if she's trying to convince everyone else.
Like, it freaked me out. I was like, whoa, what? Like, I thought it was like a play. Like, why are you saying all this about yourself?
Who said that you weren't? Like, why are you defending yourself and no one even attacked you?
I am.
Yeah. So I think she needs to get over herself. One, she's definitely not my favorite, as I kind of touched on a little bit last year. I mean, last week. She's not my favorite. I think she's coming in a little bit too strong for me. So what does she say? She says something that I felt was interesting. She goes to her husband with this article, and she's like, she goes to her husband and her family, actually, and she's like, women that carry a lot of excess weight in their bottom half, they're actually at a lower risk for diabetes. And so, you can be healthy being overweight. Okay.
I'm going to have to talk to Dr.
Yeah. Well, my only problem with that is the fact that she just lost X amount of weight, and that she, you know, cried last episode and was so emotional about this journey, this weight loss journey that she was on. If that's really what you believe, then why didn't you stay the size that you are, Dr. Heavenly?
Hello.
So don't contradict yourself, boo. And you want to talk about her daughter? English loves her daughter.
No, I don't. I think her daughter is absolutely like the little like crazy. I don't want to call her daughter a devil, but she's like a little like devil child. Like she's creepy. Like, did you think the way that she talked was just like, yes, mother, and the like like it was too much for me. What do you think?
I think she's sassy. I think she's a little diva, and I think that with all of this talk of Dr. Heavenly being this perfect mom and such a good parent, I think she needs to discipline her child and smack her in the mouth.
Okay.
Stop talking back
what?
to an adult.
Okay.
Yeah.
Too smart.
And I'm all for, like, don't get me wrong, I want a sassy little diva daughter that's, like, cute and, like, carries purses and, like, thinks she's all that. But I think that there's a fine line in that and, like, knowing when to zip your mouth and knowing when to respect your
like
parents.
She snaps back.
Yeah.
Like, and then
like an adult.
Who are you? You are a child with
Like,
pigtails.
She given Dr. Heavenly more drama and more sass than any of the other ladies ever did.
Okay.
Hello? You worried about these other ladies. You need to be worried about your daughter.
Get your daughter. Save her.
Your daughter
She's coming for you.
Your daughter is wild.
Okay.
But,
get her. Catch her.
so, you know, once again, not really much to say about this, that scene. We then move on to a few other scenes of various little small things happening. Dr. Simone at work, she gets a call from Toya, agrees to meet up with Toya. That, of course, we see play out towards the end of the episode. Dr. Jackie, what is she doing? All I have written down is Dr. Jackie. So I don't know what happened there. And then Mariah, talking to her husband, Aiden, she is giving him a recap of what happened at the event. She pretty much just she says the reason why she didn't have doctors on the dock, which was the event that they had last season, because they have a dock at the back of their house. She says she didn't have it because, you know, it's too much drama with these women and she just didn't want to deal with it, which I think is smart. Like, I mean, for the sake of the show, yes, we want to see the drama. We want to see the cat fights. But, you know, for the sake of your husband's practice, for the sake of everyone's reputation, you know, maybe you don't want to have the drama go down at your house. So at least you can participate in the drama, but it can be at someone else's house. In this case, Dr. Heavenly's. She also kind of critiques him for his thinning hair.
That was a weird, like, scene, like, how they jumped, and he was like, why are you looking at my head? Why are you looking at my head? And he was like, you want implants? You want... She was like, wow, cornrows, Jerry curl. She was like going on and on. We're gonna have twisties. On the top of that, she like, I don't understand how. And then he was like going with it.
Well, I will just say that I do love their relationship. I think they have a very cute dynamic, and I think that he just is so in love with her and the idea of her that she can kind of like, you know, be a ball buster and kind of pick on him a little bit, and you know, he can still take it in stride. I just love them together. I think they're a very good couple, and so, I mean, I don't necessarily agree with critiquing your husband's hairline on national television because men get sensitive about that. Like the receding hairline issue, they get very serious.
And he's a doctor. Yeah. So it's like, my freaking hair is going back. Like, what?
So I don't agree with her critiquing him, but I do think that they have a very cute, playful relationship. And so I didn't find it as malicious as I would have if, say, it were someone else. Like,
You're right.
So then we see Dr. Jackie at her office, and she is asking, you know, how she should approach her husband about, you know, the method she wants to take to try to have a child. She's talking to her office staff, and they're giving her all these suggestions. Like, what are some of the suggestions they say? Like, you know, take him to a strip club. No, not so much. And she determines that she's going to do this while he's playing basketball, or while they are playing basketball, because that's one of the things he likes to do. And we did determine that he used to be a professional basketball player.
Yes.
Okay, good for her. So if she ever doesn't work out on Married to Medicine, she can head over to Basketball Wives LA or Basketball Wives Atlanta, I guess. One of them, Basketball Wives. So she decides she's going to tell him, of course, while they're playing basketball. Did you think that was a good decision, or like, what is the best way to kind of confront your husband with the talk about fertility.
It was weird because it was like she was like stripping. And I was like, this is like, you guys are like grown, like you guys are too old for this scene. Like you guys are stripping on camera, kind of. She like pulled down her pants. Then it was like sexy, like weird.
Well, I'm glad she pulled down her pants because at first when they were in the doctor's office, one of the girls was like, oh, we're going to get you a cute outfit, like a little jersey. And then she walked in and she wasn't looking cute. She had like the basketball shorts on, like men's basketball shorts. And I'm like, ooh, no, boo-boo, that's not cute. But she did, I did like that she kind of got a little sexy with it, with the little booty shorts.
Yeah.
No? And then a little jersey that said Team Jackie. But I agree, it was a little, because there was other people in the gym too.
I was like, this is weird. And then how she let him win. And then she was like, dinner. And she like went behind the wall, grabbed a whole picnic with candlelight and everything for a dinner. I was like, where did all this stuff come from?
So where would you tell your husband, if you had to have that talk with him, where would you think would be appropriate?
I would tell him, you just saw me play you up. Let's go home. In the bed at the house.
And then you would tell him in the bed at the house?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I can see that.
Yeah. Like, it was just weird. Like, why? It's like corny, like old corny stuff. Like picnic table, pop-up.
What I will say that I kind of got from her husband during this scene is that he seems a little private to me. I think that if they had maybe been playing basketball and the cameras weren't there, he would have had a better reaction. Or maybe if they were anywhere else in the world and the cameras hadn't have been there, he would have been more receptive to this idea.
Yeah.
But he just seemed like one that is not really all that excited about being on the show, and especially not that excited about talking about something as serious as their, fertility and them having a kid on the show. Especially with him being like, I thought that was closed for us.
Yeah.
Trying to kind of shut it down. And then she's like, no, it's not. Like, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
And it didn't go over very well. And I mean, I think the scene was kind of left open-ended for us. We never really got a yes or no answer as to whether or not they're going to pursue this. So do you think that they will ultimately try to have a child or no?
I think they will.
You think they will?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I think they should. Like, I mean, I think it would be, I don't know, like, I think that he would be doing himself a disservice if they didn't try, and I think that he would also be doing her a disservice if he didn't try.
Yeah, like he has to do it. Like he has to try.
Yeah.
Like she deserves it.
Yeah. Because she said, like, I was talking to my husband, and he said the one thing that he regrets in life is that he never had a son. So you say that that's what you regret, and then, like, your wife tries to have a son, and you're like, well, no, I'm selfish with my time, and I might die soon.
Yeah, like, that's weird. Like, either you want it or you don't, because I'm trying to give it to you.
Yeah. But I will say that is a good point that he brings up about the mortality, because I feel like people... For instance, I mean, to make this all about me, like my mom had me when she was 39, and she had my oldest sister when she was 20. And it's like my older sister now is like in her 40s and has lived her whole life with my mom, has kids who my mom is a grandmother to. And it's like, I don't have any kids yet. And I've got to live less of my life with my mom than my sister did. So I kind of get where he's saying is like, if you're older and you have kids, it's kind of unfair to them, but I don't know. No. I mean, I still agree that they should have kids.
Yeah, they just should. Like, why not? Just try it. Just try.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess we'll see. She might be pregnant right now. Who knows?
Hello.
Next scene is Dr. Simone with Quad. They are at Dr. Simone's house, and they're talking about birth control options because Quad doesn't want to have a kid. We go from one extreme to the other. Quad doesn't want to have a kid, and she isn't on birth control right now. She's just been having sex, and apparently she doesn't have sex when she's ovulating.
And she tells her husband no. And he says, okay, which is weird.
Well, she wears the pants in that relationship. Like, that's for sure.
Completely. Like, how can you say no? And he goes, okay, good night. And where does it go? And then you tell him when to do it, and he does, and then I
think she wears the pants.
Like,
and I think she just kind of avoids it. Like, maybe if she wants to have sex, she can, like, kind of cuddle up to him and spoon with him. But if she knows that she's ovulating, she's going to kind of be a little bit more distant. Maybe go to bed a little bit later. Maybe come to the bedroom after he's already fallen asleep. I mean, I think there's ways to avoid it. But I mean, I think the bigger issue here is why are you avoiding it? Like, this is your husband. You should be able to talk to him and be honest with him.
Yeah, it's like weird. It's like shady.
Yeah, it's definitely shady a little bit.
Completely shady. Like, this is your husband. Like, it's weird that you're trying to like avoid, and then all of a sudden when you want it, you do it.
Yeah, but I mean, women do it. This is a real life thing that women do. They hide the fact that they're on birth control, or that the fact that they don't want to have kids from their husband. I work with someone that is on birth control and her husband doesn't know, and she doesn't want to have another kid. They have one kid, but she doesn't want to have another kid.
That's crazy.
So people do it. I think this is a real life situation for a lot of women.
And the men don't even know.
Yeah, but I mean, it comes down to like a pro-choice issue. I kind of feel, because it's like, it's a woman's body, and I have the right to do whatever I want to with my body. And if you don't like it, then
yeah, but she has to at least say something to him.
Yeah, no, I mean, I personally would. I agree. I would tell my husband, and I would be honest with him and say I don't want to have a child right now. But I don't know, she's not doing that. So, an interesting comment I thought was, it's good to have a girlfriend that's an OBGYN. Quad says that. Which made me think, if I had a friend that was an OBGYN, would I let her, like, give me, like, a annual exam?
Yeah.
Would you let your
No. That was weird.
So you definitely don't want your girlfriend looking at your...
No.
No.
Weird.
Yeah, a little bit strange. But, I mean, I think it is convenient that Dr. Simone can give her the option, ideas on what methods of birth control she has, because, she doesn't want to take the pill. She said she used to forget about taking it. She maybe does or does not want to do the ring. So, I mean, I think that part of it's convenient that she at least has her to call on and say, hey, what are my options? Because there are tons of birth control options out there these days. You can get something, put in your arm. You can get a shot. I mean, I wouldn't recommend the shot because you gain a lot of weight, but you can get the shot. You can get something in your arm. You can get the ring. You can do the pill. I mean, it's tons of stuff you can do out there. So that part at least is convenient. So to wrap up the episode, the last scene we see is Dr. Simone and Toya talking in their neighborhood, and nothing much was accomplished. They briefly discuss the, incident that happened at the bowling alley where Dr. Simone was dancing with Toya's husband. And Jake and I discussed this last week, but you weren't here. So what are your thoughts on that whole situation?
I don't think it was that crazy. Like, I think
so. Team Simone, okay.
I'm Team Simone totally. Like, everyone knows, like, she's a lively person, and there was vodka. She's not trying to get up on your man. Like, I think you were trying to take it too personal, but you're like she said, I let loose. Like, I'm not like being uptight. Like, oh, I'm dancing on your man like that. Like, it wasn't even that serious.
So if we were at the bowling alley and I was dancing up on your man, you would be completely fine with it, even if I had had a lot of vodka. That's what you just said.
Yeah. And I mean, I wouldn't crazy care. Like, it wouldn't be like, whoa, oh my gosh. Like, you're not going to be, like, booty popping, like, twerking and stuff. So, hey, whatever.
It's all in fun and games, I guess.
For a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. But, like I said last week, the thing about it that kind of rubbed me the wrong way is the fact that Toya was obviously a little bit offended by it. And she kind of pushed her hand off, letting her know, hey, I'm uncomfortable. And she kept going. Yeah. Like, if someone's is uncomfortable, then you can't.
Yeah, yeah, but she maybe just was like, stop.
Yeah. So, I don't think they got much accomplished, and I think that they're just setting, that whole storm off, and Simone jumps in her Aston Martin and leaves. I think that is just setting up this season, of course, to be, one of the main issues between these ladies is, oh, well, you were dancing with my husband at the bowling alley, so I hate you.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. So that wraps up our discussion of the show. We can, of course, get into some predictions for next week.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Do you want to go first, or you have any?
No.
Okay. I will predict that even though I do not want this to be a theme throughout the season, I'm going to predict that next episode we go back to the issue of Dr. Heavenly being offended by the fact that Dr. Jackie called the beauty queen unhealthy.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
thought that was squashed last episode. Dr. Jackie apologized. Dr. Heavenly seemed to have accepted the apology. And then next week we see them, the beauty queen, Dr. Heavenly and Jackie, all in the office discussing it. Ladies, squash it. I don't want this to be an issue the entire season.
I don't understand. That is exactly what I was going to say. Like, why when they flashed to the scene of off, I was like, we're back at it again.
Yeah.
Beauty queen and all. I thought she shook her hand, hugged her. All that was done at the house, at the party. How is this? Oh, I woke up and felt fat today, and I'm mad at what Dr. Jackie said. Like get over it. Let it go. You lost 75 pounds. She said she's sorry. Let it go.
Yeah.
Why are we here and the beauty queen is sitting on my couch?
If I were Dr. Jackie, I seriously would refuse to film with them because that beauty queen is not going to get one more second of fame out of me. Like, stop trying to make yourself famous over something so petty and so stupid. I'm sure you've been called worse in your life. And it's not even like Dr. Jackie called her fat or obese or like sloppy or whatever. She could have had a number of negative, pejorative adjectives to use, and all she said was unhealthy. So anyway, I don't want to see it for the rest of the season. Not like anybody cares what I want to see, but I don't want to see it, and I hope that we don't see it, but I'm sure we will see it.
Yep.
So any predictions from you?
No, that we kind of went in on that.
We did.
Both of us.
All right, well, English between now and next week, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Pink English and also on Twitter, English Speaks.
Guys, you can find me, Michelle Renee, at Twitter and Instagram on Twitter and Instagram at Michelle Renee TV. Jake Dupree will be with us next week, and maybe even another host is going to be joining us as well. So thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next week. Have a great week, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.